Hey, it's Jessica. Welcome to Rock Your Craft. Today we're going to be talking about design space for your Cricut crafting machine and specifically about uploading images. I am going to be talking to you about a couple of different ways to upload images and how to make it a little bit easier for you. So first, a little background about myself. For those who are new here, my name is Jessica Helgren and I am a blogger and I've been doing online tutorials for quite a while. I also manage a Facebook group called Rock Your Craft Biz and another group called Craft Cutters, where it is a Cricut learning community. Feel free to hop on over and join both or either group and join in on the conversation. I also manage my household of a husband and 4 children, so as you can imagine, we stay quite busy around here. Usually lots of laundry to be done and Legos everywhere. So yeah, we stay pretty busy. I'm going to go ahead and jump in to getting started with the tutorial. But before I do that, just a couple of bits of information. I have been doing craft tutorials on my blog, The Mommy Bunch, and those are my most popular posts on my blog. So that's kind of what sparked me getting started teaching others to do the same and helping them learn their craft. Feel free to give the blog a visit if you want to check out any of those tutorials. And I also have another website called Rock Your Craft where I will be transitioning most of those tutorials, so stay tuned for that as well. What we are going to talk about today is identifying the difference between vector and basic images or raster images, how to upload those images in Design Space, and then how to take those basic images and convert them into a cut image within Design Space. The 2 image types we are going to be talking about today are those basic or raster images versus vector images. As you can kind of see from this screenshot here, the vector images do upload a little bit better. They're a little smoother, have cleaner cut lines. The raster images tend to look a little bit grainy and you have to clean them up a little bit. But we're going to talk about each more specifically. The vector images, those are the ones that are your SVG files. So if you've heard of SVG or you've been uploading images or downloading images online, you're probably getting SVG files, which are your scalable vector graphics. The images themselves are based on mathematical paths, not pixels. So when you scale them, they are proportionately scaled. When you make the image larger, everything increases in size proportionally to each other because of those mathematical paths. And it makes the image scale very nicely so that you don't lose any quality and it doesn't start to look grainy. The file extensions for these are .svg or .dxf. These are your ideal images for cutting in Design Space. So if you can find an image that you like online that is already an SVG file, I would highly suggest that that's what you use because they're ready to go. You don't have to clean them up. You don't have to do anything to make them work in Design Space. You can directly import these into Design Space without having to convert them into a different type of file or into a cut file, and they scale up or down without losing any quality at all. The file sizes for your SVGs are typically smaller as well, so they take up a little less space on your computer if you're hanging on to those files. But the only thing that you might need to change, maybe the color, which is very easy to do once you upload an SVG file into Design Space. That is all stuff that is customizable. The color, the size, anything that you don't want to keep within that image is all customizable. So they're very easy to work with. When you're uploading those vector images, it's very simple steps, and I will walk through a demonstration of this shortly, but it's very simple to do. You simply, when you are in your design, on the Design Space website, you are going to hit New Project, and then you are going to upload. There's a button, excuse me, a button that says Upload. You will hit upload image, where you can either drag and drop, or you can search for your file. Since these are basically ready to go, you don't need to do anything else to clean them up. They upload exactly as you need. So you simply hit save, and then you can select and insert the image into your project. The basic or raster images, on the other hand, these are images formed because you have pixels that are added together to form this image. So an example would be a photograph is based on pixels. The file extension for these are the .jpg, JPEGs, the .gif, .png, and .bmp. The basic or raster images, they are useful for certain things. They do create very smooth gradients and changes in color, subtle tones. So if you are looking to do a print then cut image where you're going to print something out on your printer and you want to have really nice color variations and gradients, then a basic image might work really well for that, because you can print it out on your printer and then cut out around it using the print then cut feature. So they are useful in that way if you want lots of different color variations and subtle tones. But you cannot scale the images up without losing quality. You can scale down without losing quality, but when you start to increase the size, that's when things start to get where they look a little pixelated or grainy. So the SVG files are much better if you're going to plan to scale an image and make it larger. The file sizes for the basic raster images are typically larger than vector files, so they do take up more space on your computer, and they will require a few steps if you plan on converting them into a cut-only file. So if you upload them and you simply want to do a print then cut, that takes a little bit less work. But if you want to turn them into a cut file, then you will have to clean them up a little bit to create those smooth lines. When you're uploading a raster image, it's similar to when you're doing an SVG, but the only difference is it's not quite ready to go yet. So you hit upload, you upload your image by either drag and drop or searching for your file, and then you have to choose how complex your image is. Does it need a lot of cleaning up? Is it fairly simple? You're going to choose your complexity. So when you do that, you're going to be choosing which parts of your image you're going to get rid of. So most of the time you need to get rid of the background and a few other pieces. And what parts of your image are you planning on keeping? Simple images are much easier to convert. So if you have something that's very highly complex, 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be really difficult to do it within Design Space directly, and you might need an outside software. But if you have a fairly simple image, it shouldn't be any problem. The example image that I have up here of these zodiac signs, it is a pretty complex image, and you can see lots of color variations and gradients. But if I wanted to take any single one of these zodiac signs and turn it into a cut file, I can do that, and I'll show you an example of how to do that. Even though this is a complex image, I'm not going to worry about the color variations because I don't care to keep those when I'm doing a cut file. If you are looking to simplify the process and simply just download some SVG files that are ready to go, there are lots of places you can find those online. Many places give them to you for free. Sometimes if you do want a very specific image, you might need to pay for that, but they're very inexpensive. There's a list here of a few places that you can get those cut files, or you can head to my free Facebook group. It's called Craft Cutters. It's a Cricut learning community that I've created, and just if you search for Craft Cutters on Facebook, it should pop up and you can feel free to join and search for those files, join in on conversations that we have there, ask questions, and join the community. Okay, so now I want to show you the actual demo of how to do the files. So when you are in Design Space, this is the main home screen, you're going to click New Project. And when you are in your canvas, there is a little upload button here on the left-hand side. If you click that, you have the option to upload an image or upload a pattern. We're going to work with images today. So I'll do the SVG file first to show you how easy that is. If you hit Upload Image and you can drag and drop, or you can hit Browse. I typically just do the Browse. Sorry. Okay, so if I find whatever SVG file I want, so I have one saved on my computer, and you'll know because the extension, the end of it says .svg, that's the one you're going to use. And then you're going to hit open so that it pulls it into your Design Space. And then that's the file that will be there. You can see with the little checkerboard, that's the transparent background, and your image is basically ready to go. So you can name it. It's already named, but I'm just gonna redo it because I want to take out those underscores. And then the tags are pretty important because when you search for images within Design Space, the tags are what are the thing that's going to bring up specific images, whether it's an image that's already loaded in Design Space as part of the program or one that you've uploaded. The tags are going to be what bring those images up in your search results. So I would add tags that are relevant to the image and things that would help you find this later. And then you simply hit save, and now your image is ready to go. You simply need to click on it. You'll see the little green box highlights it saying that that one is selected, and you can hit insert images and it'll go on your canvas ready to use. And you can see that you can scale it up and it does not lose any quality. It's still very clear and ready to go. If you want to edit any of this, if you don't like the colors, you just come on over, pick out colors that you like, and change those out to fit whatever it is that you would like to have on your specific cut file. So the SVGs are fairly simple. I'm going to remove that one, and now we will do one of the basic raster images just to show you the difference. So again, you hit upload, upload image, and browse once again. This time I'm going to do those zodiac signs again that I showed you in the presentation, in the slides. So here you can see I have all of these zodiac images, and actually if I go back just to double kind of reinforce that the file type is a .jpg. So this is a JPEG image. It is not an SVG. So it does need cleaning up. So if I open that image up, you can see the kind of preview of what it will look like here. You have to decide, is this a simple, moderately complex, or complex image? I wouldn't get too hung up on this. If you pick moderately complex and you go in and start editing and you realize that maybe this is a little more complex than you originally thought, you can hit the back button and you can hit complex, or vice versa. You know, don't get too hung up on how complex it is, because when you start playing with it, it's really not that big of a difference. I'm just going to pick complex, hit continue. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see where my image came in. And if I hit preview right now, all it's going to be is a big square. Like this square is what's going to cut out, because right now it doesn't know where any of the cut lines are and we have to create them. So this little tool up here is called the Select and Erase tool up on the top left hand side. And that allows you to pick parts of your image that you want to remove. So I'm going to remove the background from the entire image. And when you see the checkerboard, that's when you know that that part of the image is gone. So I know that anything that has this checkerboard is not going to be part of your cut anymore. So now if I hit preview, you can see that it did remove all of that background and it cleaned it up quite a bit. Now I still have more work that I want to do with this, so I'm going to go back and erase some more things. In addition to this select tool, which will select bits and pieces, you can hit the erase tool, which is a scalable eraser. So it does change the size of the eraser from small to big. And you can erase any parts of your image that you'd like. So if I don't want these words in here, I can simply just erase them. And it's much easier to use the eraser on something like this than it is the selection tool, because you'd have to hit every little pixel of those black words. So the eraser tool works nice for that. There's also a crop tool. So if I, for instance, only want to keep, since I'm Gemini, let's keep the twins. Let's say that's the only part of this image that I want to keep. I don't care about the rest of the zodiac signs. I just want to keep that one piece of this. I can crop it to only include that part of the image. Now let's say, well, maybe I do want the whole thing. I can always hit the back button. There's a undo button right here that allows me to go back and undo what I've done, so that I can go back and say, maybe I do want to keep all of these as part of my cut file and just clean them up a little bit more, which you can do again with your select tool. And you can zoom in to get a little closer to see what you're working with. So if I use that select tool and I want to get rid of these white pieces within my specific, what is this one? The ram? I don't know what zodiac sign this one is, but I'm sure somebody does. But if I want to clean out all of those little white pieces to make more of a cut path here, I can use that select tool to do that. And then if I preview, I can see now all of that will be cut out instead of being left as a whole piece. So let's go back. Let's see. What did I just undo? This one, I'll redo it. I didn't mean to undo. I wanted to zoom out. And I actually would like to just keep my zodiac sign, the Gemini twins, and clean that one up. So I'm going to clean out the white parts of the hair. And actually, if I hit undo, I'm going to show you the preview. See how it fills all that in because it doesn't know that that's a cut line there, versus this side where I cleaned it up and took those white bits out, those become cut lines. So I'm going to make sure I take those out because I do want cut lines there. I'm going to hit preview again and now see how they're cut lines. And everything looks pretty good the way that it is now. If it cuts like this, I'd be pretty happy with this image. So once you're satisfied with how the image looks, you can go ahead and hit continue. And then you have to decide, do you want to save this image as a print then cut, where it will just print it out on your home printer exactly as it looks here with the coloring, the blue variations, and then just cut out around it? Or do you want to save it as an actual cut file where it will cut all of these intricate cuts and you'll basically have this outline? I do want a cut file for this one because I want to be able to scale it and be able to cut out some vinyl and put it on different things. So I am going to put the name of this is my Gemini twins. What would be another good tag? Zodiac Gemini. If I was searching for these, what would I put on here? Faces, maybe. Okay, and then you just hit save. And now you can see that this has become, again, a cut file that is ready to go. So you click on it and you can insert it. And now you can go ahead and scale it to whatever size you need, and you'll have those nice cut lines here. And it looks exactly how I want it to look. And if I wanted to change the color, just to get an idea of what it would look like if I'm printing on purple vinyl, or if I'm cutting out purple vinyl, excuse me, you know, whatever color you would like it to be, blue, just to give you a preview. And then I could go ahead and cut it out as normal and it's ready to go. So if you have any questions about uploading images in Design Space, be sure to leave a comment, join me in my Facebook group, Craft Cutters, and join the conversation where you can ask questions, help answer questions, or just find some projects that might spark your creativity and inspire you. So thanks for watching. Be sure to give the video a like, share the video, and subscribe to our channel so that we can keep bringing you these wonderful tutorials.